What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Long Haul Fitness Podcast. I am Nick. I'm your host. Today I have Andre Soto with me from Anybody Supplements here in Texas. What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you taking an hour to spend some time talking to me. But we were just talking about trying to make sure we looked right before I started the video chat, and I was like, oh, shit, I got to go brush my beard.
You know what's crazy? I know Zoom has become like this big thing now. What just happened?
Oh, my bad. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I never used it or seen it before this.
Huh?
Yeah, so Zoom is like super new to me. So it's like my first time using it. I had it for a call before.
Yeah.
But this is my first time like actually doing a video and like recording it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's a lot of fun. I got you're my second one so far. I did one earlier. I did one last Thursday with my coach.
Okay.
So you'll be Chris Tuttle.
Okay.
He's an IFBB pro, and then he's a registered dietitian as well. So that's why I wanted to start working with him, because he's got the RD background. So he's got the full clinical side, but he also has the bodybuilding knowledge. So I mean, it's been really
exactly cool. You know what's crazy about that, bro? It's actually a massive difference between, like, I guess the bro science for the bodybuilding, like competing, like dieting, and then getting a dietitian.
You're breaking up a little bit, man.
They're different, and I think you can that fits your body type.
Yeah.
Better or no?
Yeah. You broke up a little bit there, but I got that for the most part. Yeah, they're definitely different. Bodybuilding and like a normal healthy lifestyle are completely different. But the reason I wanted to bring you on here today, obviously, you have been how long have you owned Anybody or been part of Anybody?
So we started Anybody December 2018.
Okay.
I used to own a different shop before that was called Ideal Nutrition. We started as a shredded supplement before that. So
okay.
Anybody was kind of an idea. I had Ideal. Ideal was just a storefront out in McKinney. And we started kind of realizing that over time, Amazon was taking over basically, well, technically the world, right? But the supplement industry was definitely changing because of Amazon. They were cheaper. They were faster. They had every option you could possibly think about. So Anybody Supplements was created because we wanted to start a website. Yeah. And we wanted to have that type of customer service and that type of mentality that Amazon had of, you know, doing the free shipping, making sure we weren't expensive. And that's kind of what we started. It was really to just not necessarily compete with Amazon, but mimic some of the stuff that they do. Yeah. And instead of complaining about them, basically adapt or die, right? So Amazon's going to be here whether we're here or not. So we wanted to kind of mimic and try to be the best we could be with Amazon, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And now with all the quarantine shit, Amazon is definitely on the rest of the world now. I think I saw.
Dude, Amazon.
Go ahead.
They had an increase in sales, bro. Like, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw something that he's going to be the first trillionaire. At least the first public. At least the first public one. You know, I mean, there's some of those guys don't. They're hidden pretty well, but he's the first public one. And the craziest part about that to me is not that long ago, he had to give his wife half of his like fortune.
Yep.
Marley, get out of the way.
You know what's cool about that though? I mean, maybe everyone's gonna have a different opinion than I do. I feel like his wife does deserve half of it. I feel like when you're a guy and you're, you know, get with somebody and it's a good relationship, she helps you build your stuff up. Yeah. So not necessarily did she work as much as he did, but I bet you he wouldn't have what he has if it wasn't for her. So half of $400 million or $1 billion seems like a lot though. But
I'm pretty sure it was like 500. But
okay, there it is.
I mean, the fact that he could give away like $500 billion and still get to $1 trillion this quickly is pretty fucking impressive. So. But yeah, man, that's really cool. What got you into like the supplement industry to start off with? You said it started off as shredded supplements.
So actually, I started when I was 18. I wanted to it's funny you said that. I wanted to go to school to be a dietitian.
Okay.
So I used to play soccer when I was younger. So I finally decided that I wasn't gonna go pro, and I wanted to be realistic with myself. The only thing I had ever done was play soccer. But when I realized I couldn't go pro, I was like, well, then I'm done. I want to study and actually make something of myself. So I went to school to be a dietitian. On my first year as a student, Mike Mummer came up to me at the gym, and he was like, "Hey man, I work at Total Nutrition. We're looking for people to basically be in our athlete program. If you're taking any supplements, I would love to, give you some cards and a few shirts and help see if you fit in and help you promote." Well, at the time I was really broke. So I was like, man, this is amazing. I can definitely get people in here. I grew up in McKinney my entire life. So I was like, I'll bring everybody here. So my first month, I brought in like 5K in sales. And they were like, hey, do you want to work here part-time? I was like, I would love to.
Damn.
So I started as a part-time worker with them. Eventually, I became the manager after about a year. And then Mike decided that, he wanted to start Shredded Supplements. So we started Shredded Supplements together. So he got me out of Total Nutrition to do that. But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have anything. I ended up dropping out of school on probably my second year in school. I kind of realized that I could make more money without the degree if I just kind of worked hard. Because, I mean, I got the mentality from Mike, actually, because he kept telling me, honestly, man, you can eventually open up your own store. You can become a manager and make more money than you would in school. And I was never good at school. So it didn't take much to get persuaded to drop out and go full time into the supplements. He was definitely the driving force behind it. But I think him to this day, actually, we're still really cool. And I always tell him, like, I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel that like 100% what you just said. I did finish college and I have my kinesiology degree. But I mean, at the end of the day, if I had at 18 decided, all right, let me get my NASM, let me start personal training, I'd have learned the same shit. And I'd have almost 10 years of experience at this point. So I guess it just depends on what you're going to school for. But I wasn't a good student. Right. I got by and I could do well without trying. But like, I was not a student. I just learned how to study like when I got my NASM last year. So
really,
yeah, I mean, I just started writing note cards and shit, but I don't know how the fuck I got through college, man.
You know what's funny though? I think when we grew up, when we were in high school and starting college, it really did seem like you needed the degree. I mean, it really did. Like when I dropped out, I was pretty terrified about dropping out because I felt like eventually I was gonna regret it, and I felt like I was gonna need it. So I think that's why all of us, when we graduate, we're like, well, we have to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think we're finally getting to that point now where it seems like a lot of people don't. But like you said, obviously, if you want to be a lawyer, you have to go to college, right?
Yeah,
But there's a lot of stuff you don't need it for anymore.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole lot of things you don't need it for anymore. And I mean, I definitely think the education system is starting to reflect that. And I think in the next few years, it'll start to decline if it doesn't change anyways. You know what I'm saying? But so when I was in college is actually when I started to get into supplements as well. Like I remember talking to my mom about I got those those ads that we got when we were like 15, 16 years old when nitric oxide was like the first big fucking thing. And you'd get those ads while you're on Facebook talking about better than steroids. Yeah. Tell me how I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, this stuff is better than steroids and it's not gonna hurt me. She's like, you're not.
It's only $30.
Yeah, right.
Dude, my mom hated it. So my mom is from Mexico, so is my dad. So they have that really conservative Hispanic mentality, bro. Just to give you an idea, so I went to school. We moved here when I was like 10. So my parents never heard of a GPA, nothing like that. So when I went to high school, bro, I didn't realize what a GPA was till my junior year. They never explained it to me. My parents had no fucking idea. So I was like, wait, I need this little number for college? Got it. Okay. I thought I could just pass. So whenever I told them I was dropping out of college to do supplements, they were supportive my entire life, even to today, bro. They helped me with everything. But when I told them I was dropping out for supplements, my mom literally set me down with my dad and told me I was fucking stupid if they thought I was going to make money off powder and the pre-workout was going to kill me. So I was like, all right, well. That's the one way to look at it. Because I used to take Eno Explode, and when Eno Explode was you put it in a glass of water, and you stirred it up, it would like rise up and explode the water. And my mom was like, what does that do to your stomach? Of course you have to shit every time you take it. It's killing you from the inside. And I was like, you know what? That does make sense. I don't think it works that way.
That was my very first pre-workout was the No Explode. And I remember,
you know what, bro? I think it's everybody's and it tastes horrible.
Oh, dude, it was god awful, and all they had was fruit punch. I to this day, I refuse to buy anything fruit punch flavored because of No Explode. Like that was the worst flavor ever. It was like
You know,
rotten
at the
fruit
time,
punch.
Ronnie Coleman was
They made
big
it out of
still. You were
rotten
like, oh, you
fruit.
know what?
But
You
yeah,
know
so
what's wild? You can even tell me what fruit punch is supposed to taste like.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They all taste,
But
bro. They all taste different. Blue raspberry to this day, I'm like, who came up with this flavor? Like, it's not a fruit.
yeah, I know, right?
Like, so
I love it. I
I
love
don't
blue
know.
raspberry. You know, blue Jolly Ranchers. That shit that's where it's at. What are you doing?
Yeah, okay, there we go. If it tastes like Blue Raleigh Ranch, I'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Uh,
but they don't. They don't. Though. That's the issue.
Not usually.
But you know what's crazy though? Supplements have come a long way though. Like,
Hell yeah.
and no explode back in the day. I mean, obviously the way the packaging was set up, the way the powder used to mix and everything else. I
Yeah,
think nowadays improved a ton.
for sure.
And it's thanks to the internet, bro. Actually, because I think a lot of people complain and people start getting scared of taking product. And that's fixed the industry a ton. Obviously, there's still a lot of companies that are pretty sketchy.
Right.
But I think it's going to get better and better over time. Like, for example, we're doing the supplement line Paradise, and we're making sure our facility is GMP certified.
Yeah.
We want to eventually get NSF approved or FDA approved for certain products or SKUs. So I think the industry is going to change and it's going to get better over time. But right now, you still get some of the sketch. And you know what's weird, bro? People love sketchy stuff. So it's weird because you like it's one of those things where you're like, this is bad for you, but I kind of want it. And
it's almost like just put on the label, this will make you have a heart attack, and you're gonna sell it. Like it's gonna fly off the shelf. That's the quick. People are fucking retarded, dude. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I'm not a big STEM guy, so I don't know how people do that. But yeah, I remember. So I worked in college. I started working for Complete Nutrition. I remember the first time I thought about like working for a supplement company. I was like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it was a lot of fun for the first like year and a half, but towards the end, it just got where I was just awful. And it really burnt me out on the fitness industry in general. And when I got fired,
isn't it crazy those corporate jobs, how much they drain you?
Yeah. Like when I got fired, I just got out of the fitness industry. I stopped working for the fitness industry. I didn't want to do it anymore because I was just tired of it. Like it was my hobby and it's my passion, but like the dumb shit I had to deal with every day really like drove me crazy.
Dude.
And I don't even mean like not dumb shit with people. Like I don't mind answering people's questions and stuff. It was just like towards the end, it was obvious that the company was going downhill. We were a franchise, not the corporate side, and they had actually opened more stores than the actual corporate, but weren't running it properly. So like every few months there was a full operations change, and we basically had to learn an entire new selling system like every 6 months. And towards the end, I was in the store by myself for like 9 hours a day and 6 days a week.
Dude, I don't remember those. I never actually got to that point where they made me work that long, but I had a few buddies that did, bro, and that's draining for the rest of your life in general.
Dude,
obviously, because you're stuck in there 6 days a week. You can't do anything early in the morning or late at night.
Right. I mean, like the only thing I could do, I would wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, get to the store by 8, be there till 6 p.m., work out and go home and sleep. I had no life. It was awful.
Well, on top of that, they're not even paying you well enough for you to be like, well, this is worth it. I'm going to save up and eventually do my own thing.
Right.
And that's what I think the biggest issue is. If you got paid fat, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But when you don't, it's like, all right, well, this is worthless.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely was. I was not getting paid what I was worth. That's for sure. But I mean, it was a great experience, and I met a lot of people, and I learned a lot of things there. So I have, I'm not mad about it. I mean, my best friend and his wife were my boss and coworker, so it was like a blast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we weren't friends before he hired me, but then we like became best friends over time.
The only person you saw for it.
Yeah, right. So when they were all there, it was awesome. But then at one point, I ended up becoming the store manager, and they both moved to Wilmington to take care of another store, and I was just fucking there basically by myself most of the day. So it just got so draining, man. It was awful.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I think with supplement stores. And when I was at Total Nutrition, I want to say they're owned by the same people. They Complete and Total Nutrition, some of them at least, right?
No, so they're
Or
not.
is the Nutri Shop and Total Nutrition?
I think it might be that one. We were competitors. We were competitors with
Total.
Total. Yeah, because we actually a few times tried to open up stores like right in front of their businesses and shit like that. They did that. They did that in Fayetteville, and I actually helped open up the store and everything. And it was literally in the same shopping center. I could walk out the back door and walk into Total Nutrition. So
it's like, let's see who tanks first.
Right. Yeah, and it was us.
I think being a supplement store manager or worker, it's a little different than a lot of people think, especially in the sense of being a salesman.
Right.
Because we get it all the time. I end up becoming pretty close, or at least friends with most of the people that come in the store. And people joke around. They're like, "You're an amazing salesman," and I really don't think so, bro. And honestly, I really, really mean that. I feel like, for example, a car salesman, you go in there, and they don't care what car you buy. And honestly, It doesn't really affect your life what car you buy or what car you drive. And I feel with supplements, you're playing with people's bodies. So you got to ask more questions. You can upsell. You're not supposed to, I don't know, sell shit that you make more money on just because of money.
Right.
And I think a lot of supplement stores end up going under when they think of it as a salesman's job. Because the customer's not an idiot. Eventually, they're going to figure out that you upsold them or sold them shit that didn't work just to make more money. They'll never come back. So one of the biggest things I pride myself on is making sure that the customer gets either the best results or buys the best stuff in the shop. And the goal is for them to eventually notice by themselves and come back.
Right.
But I think that's what a lot of times it goes wrong is people see it as like you're a salesman and you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be there to help educate, and they're supposed to make decisions on their own. But I think that's what's happening in a lot of the corporate jobs. You see a lot of Complete Nutrition's closing down. Total Nutritions are out of Dallas, I think. I think there's only one left. And when I was working at Total Nutrition, the owner that owned the shop I was at had 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think there's only one left in Dallas. And NutriShop just shut down the last one in Frisco. So I think corporate is going away. GNC keeps shutting down. And it's because they forget that you're playing with people's bodies. I mean, this is the health industry. We're supposed to be a little different. And I know you agree because you do the same thing with your clients now. And personal training, you don't try to kill them so they get sore and they're like, oh, he must be a good trainer. No, you want them to get results. You don't want to kill them on the first day.
Exactly.
And I think that's where a lot of trainers go wrong as well is not everything's supposed to be money, even though obviously we work to make money. You got to put sometimes your little heart forward and think other people first. But I think that's where a lot of the industry still goes wrong. Even when they make the supplements, like I was saying, is if you don't do it in a GMP certified facility, you just may put in any type of raws inside of there, and it could be mixed with other shit. So
it all be bullshit. Yeah, for sure. And that's what one reason why I started coming to anybody for all my supplements and sending my friends and my clients and stuff to you guys, because I moved to Texas in August, and I had every connection possible back in North Carolina, but I didn't have anything here, so it was like starting from scratch. So I started off working at LA Fitness, which I'm not proud of, but
every step along the way.
Right. It's right up the street from you guys. And like, I needed some protein or pre-workout or something. And like, I just typed in supplement store and went over there. And I think you were actually there that day. And just by our interaction, there was no extra upselling. There was no like pushing a certain product. You didn't have a specific store brand that you're like, oh, ours is better than everyone else's. Like, there was nothing like that. And being one of those people that like, I did that shit, I can see it immediately. I've been in sales for years. So like, I can tell when I'm being sold to, but when you and I spoke, you were 100% genuine with me on everything. And that's what really hooked me, because I went to y'all the first time and then went to another company the next time to get something, because one of the guys that I worked with recommended it. Bro, they didn't even welcome me into the store. He had some like vendors in there that had brought in some stuff, and they literally talked the entire time. He never acknowledged me in there whatsoever, never asked me what I needed, never asked me what I was looking for. I was just on my own the whole time. And then when I went to ring up, I felt like I was an inconvenience. It's like, I'm spending over $100 here with you. Like, if you want me to do that regularly, just say hi. What's going on?
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Yeah. So once I did that, like once I had that experience, I was like, nah, I like where I was going before. And then you asked to have me on as an athlete. So I mean, I appreciate that very much. But
No, man, I appreciate you actually saying yeah, because I think I want to learn from everybody, bro.
yeah,
And you're one of those people, bro, that's actually knowledgeable, that actually gets it. Obviously, you're a good dude, but um, I feel like the way you get further in life is by doing stuff like this. When you help each
yeah,
other out, when you want to get further, when you want to learn, and you're one of those people want to learn from. I think a lot of times with, and it's going to sound kind of weird, but I think with friendship, you're supposed to get out something from the other person.
yeah,
And not necessarily a convenience money wise, but if I can learn something from you, then that friendship is worth it to me.
exactly.
Uh, if you're gonna drag me down, then obviously it's not, right. And I think you're that type of person where I can get and learn a lot from you. Uh, and that's what I wanted. I want people like that close to me. You know what I mean? One of obviously the athlete program is the same thing. If you
Right.
notice the group of people that we have, everybody's nice.
Yeah, for
Everybody's outgoing. Everybody's friendly. And a lot of times stores and brands give me shit. They're like, you don't have any competitors. And I'm like, it's not that I go and choose. I'm like, oh, he doesn't compete, so let me get him.
right.
It's more like I want people that are not necessarily centered around themselves. And I feel like a lot of the competing side of things can be like that sometimes. I
Right.
want people that want to be here and that want to learn and want to get better and that I like being around. And it's not necessarily like one of those things where like we're choosing people that not necessarily compete all the time. It's more like we want people that we want to be around, we want to hang out with.
Right.
And you competing and being that same person, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, we can give best of both worlds with him.
Yeah, for sure. I
It's
mean, yeah,
amazing.
I think you're exactly right with what you said with getting something out of a friendship. I mean, at some point in your life, once you start to really take control of your life, I guess, like for a long time, I'm sure you felt like you were just kind of living, like up
Yeah,
until a certain age, you were just doing shit, just people, your parents were handing you things. You didn't really have to do anything, but like at some point you have to take control of that. And the only way to continue to go up is to have the right people around you. So like
exactly.
100%, I mean, I think I don't waste my time on people if I don't think it's going to be an advantageous relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
I can be friendly to you, I can be nice to you and those kinds of things, but to really bring someone into my life, it needs to be mutually beneficial. Like
right,
uh, if you don't add value to my life, or even if you like just keep the value the same, you're useless to me. If you
right.
take away from my life and you're not adding to anything, or you're bringing a negative attitude or anything like that into my life, I don't need you. So I completely
Exactly, bro. I
agree.
mean, we live one time, bro. You know what I mean? You want the positive people around your life all the
Right.
time. So I mean, obviously, you hear all the time is like, gotta enjoy every day.
Yeah.
And obviously, we get caught up with work or whatever else, and sometimes you don't get to do that. So whenever you have that free time, you want to be able to do with people you actually enjoy and they're
Right.
positive. So that way, you don't end up angry or sad or pissed off all the time.
Exactly.
And it is tough to cut people out, bro. I mean, honestly, when I was younger, I had a completely different crowd of friends. And not to say they were bad or anything. It was just not the same goals, bro.
Right.
And um, I don't have very money driven goals. I have more uh, what's the right word? Empired
Right.
driven goals. Like I want to have my own little empire of
I feel you.
things I accomplished. I want to be able to look back and say like I did that.
Right.
And the money comes from that, but I want to be able to have people around me that help me get there faster.
Right.
One of the biggest examples is actually my business partner, Nino. Dude, he's amazing with a computer. Amazing. Google Ads, all that stuff. I'm an idiot.
Dude, you and me fucking both. I'm surprised I was able to turn on a meeting. Like it's bad, man. I just figured out that the laptop I just bought has a fucking fingerprint scanner on it. I'm like, this is blowing my mind.
Bro, the other day we had to sign this paperwork for this company. And I was like, hey, bro, can you print this out? And he goes, you can do that, sign it on your phone. I was like, nope, I didn't know that. I will find the app. Yeah, bro. I mean, like, shit. I've been printing shit like a few months ago. I was printing stuff out and sending pictures of it. Um, so I need him. I feel like without him, this thing doesn't take off.
Yeah.
And I know he feels the same way about me. But when we first started talking about becoming partners, I'm pretty sure it was more like I need you right now. Please don't leave.
Yeah.
More than he needed me, right? But I think going back to the benefit thing is without each other, it doesn't complement, doesn't go the way it's going right now, which thankfully is going pretty well.
Right.
And you gotta, see that coming, right? I was partnered at Ideal Nutrition with my cousin, which he almost graduated to be a dietitian.
Mm-hmm.
So when we partnered together, the idea was that he would come in the shop, do free diets for everybody, and I will manage the rest of the store.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you hang out with somebody for 2+ years, you compete a few times, and you realize like, well, he's really just giving somebody macros. And
Yeah.
when you realize, well, I could do the same thing now, I learned how to do that. It was kind of one of those things, and you're like, hey, bro, this is when we split, just because now I can do your job and I can do my job. I
Right.
need somebody that can do something I can't do, and
Right.
that happened to be Nino. So that's what we ended up doing that together. But
Gotta
I
have
don't think of it as something mean. I just think when you have goals, then you sometimes got to take steps that are awkward or difficult, but you're supposed to.
I agree. I mean, it's again one of those things where you have to separate business from like everything else.
Right.
It's not necessarily like you said. It's nothing against that other person. It's just you're not moving in the direction that I am anymore. And I think that
Hmm.
goes with any relationship or any partnership. I mean, a dating relationship, a friendship, a
Yep.
business relationship. If they're not moving in the same direction you are, you're going to just start opposing. You're going to start butting heads, and you're going to start going the opposite direction. Um, so, I mean, there always has to be that you got to try and be on the same path as much as possible, and that's hard to do with other people sometimes. So it's good that
Yeah,
you've been able to
especially at
find.
our age, bro. I mean, I think we're still changing so much, and a lot of times you don't know exactly where you want to go in life.
Yeah.
I think if you would have asked me 3 years ago, what would you want to be doing at my age, I'd be like, something completely different than what I'm doing now, right?
Oh, dude, I would have had
And
no
I
idea
still
that
think
I
the
was.
same thing now.
Yeah, I would have had no idea that I was going to be in fucking Texas expecting a kid to be here in October.
Yeah.
What?
Why'd you move here? Why'd you move?
So I in January of last year, I got in a car accident where I tore my labrum on this side. And then
Oh wow.
the very next day, me and my ex of almost 2 years broke up. I already had a trip out here planned because my boy from college lived out here. He moved out here to be with his girlfriend, and our birthdays are both in January. So I had planned the trip to come out here and celebrate our birthdays and stuff. And then once the breakup happened, I started to really plan this idea of I want to move because I
Hmm.
had wanted to get out of Greensboro for a long time, and she was kind of the reason I was still there. She didn't want to
Yeah.
leave because her family's around and stuff like that, and I get that. But once that was done, I was like, I got to go. And originally,
This is the step.
right. So originally the plan was to move to Florida because both my parents and my brother and his family are all in Florida. But then I came out here for that trip, and I was actually at Happiest Hour. You know where that is, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So that big ass outdoor upstairs patio or whatever, and you're just like looking out at all the big buildings and stuff. I was out there with them. We'd had some drinks. And I just got this overwhelming sense of like, this is where you're supposed to be. And
That's
it
awesome.
like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, but I just got this overwhelming sense of like, I need to be here. And I texted him after I got back to North Carolina. I was like, bro, I'm moving to Dallas. And it was one of those things where he was like, oh yeah, whatever. Cool, man. I'll see you then. And then, and then like a few months later, I was like, hey, I just reserved my U-Haul. And he was like, oh, you're serious? I was like, yeah, dude, I'm coming in July to find an apartment. Like, all right, dude, let's fucking do it. Uh, and it's been a blessing ever since, man. It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. And now with my son on the way, that feeling of I need to be here makes a lot of sense now. It's
Yeah.
it's so weird how life goes like that. Like we could sit here and do an entire podcast on the scenarios that just lined up perfectly for all this shit to happen. Like me and my
Yeah.
boy Mike or Mark, that I used to work for at Complete Nutrition. We had a whole conversation about this, just going back and back and back, and it was like it's all
Yeah.
tied together. So yeah, that was the whole reason. And I knew there was money out here. I knew fitness was big here. So I was like, I
Dude,
need
it's
both of
huge here.
those.
I would almost bet money is bigger in Texas than most states.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think California probably still has us beat just because
Actually, you're probably true. Actually.
they are a bit bigger than we are, just size wise and
Hmm.
population wise. Marley, stop. Um, but yeah, I would say it's California, Texas, and Florida for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, you're right. California is probably more. Um, well, people go out there to try to become actors and stuff. So you see those good-looking people
Yeah,
lean on the beach every
yeah,
day.
for
So
sure.
you're right. It probably does make sense.
But I also,
Uh,
I don't
yeah,
also
but it's weird, bro, how everything worked out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how life goes, you don't expect certain things to happen, but they all work out in the end. And there's no way I could go to California. It's too expensive, and I don't want to live with the homeless people. So,
I went to Cali for the first time. If it wasn't last year, a year before, and you go out there with this expectation, so this beautiful place, and you're gonna love it. And dude, as soon as I got there, I hated it. I hate traffic. I hate people that are super into themselves, and I feel like there's a lot of that there.
yeah, that's
Muscle Beach was awesome to me. Honestly, it really was a dream to work out at Ghost Gyms
oh
and go to Muscle Beach, even though I didn't work out outside because it was nasty.
yeah,
Uh, I love seeing it, bro, and it was cool because when I was younger, all I wanted to do was be a bodybuilder. That
yeah,
was my dream. I really wanted to be the biggest dude ever. You can tell me to do whatever, eat whatever, I would have done it.
hmm
So I watched all the videos from Arnold. That's how people work out there. So when I finally got over there, dude, I've never taken so many pictures in the gym. Never cared. I was like, hey, this is me. This is me alone in here. I gotta take and remember this forever. Um, but it was cool going out there. I could go my entire life not going back to Cali now.
hmm
But it was cool seeing it for the first time and um, to like I don't know, look back on what you used to think your goals were, bro. Because bodybuilding or competing kind of died down for me after I turned 21.
yeah,
Uh, I realized I was never gonna be as big as I thought I could get. I thought genetically I wasn't as gifted as a lot of people.
yeah,
Um, and I was like 265, the biggest I ever got, and it didn't look right to me. I was like, that's a lot of size. You're doing way too much stuff to not look right at
right,
265. So,
right,
dude,
exactly.
I'm like 6'1". Like I would have to be massive to
Oh yeah,
manage to place.
you and I are the same height, so I know exactly what you mean. And I have a
See,
very
but you going for classic though, right?
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm doing now. But
I
like
think if I would have had that option when I was really into it, I would have stayed.
yeah. I mean, I have no aspirations to go pro.
Hmm.
I don't want to do what I have to do in order to go pro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's a lot of fun,
I was
and
the same way.
yeah, it's one of the most exciting things to do is do a prep. Like I love the feeling of being in a prep as much as it sucks. Like my whole life just gets streamlined to where everything is on point. I feel great, I look great, like and the whole rest of my life just lines up perfectly. So
It
bodybuilding,
makes you super. What is it called? Zoned in.
yeah, for sure. I mean, bodybuilding's taught me so many things just about myself as a person. It showed me what dedication and consistency can do and how far it can take you, and it's bled into the whole rest of my life. So it's been one of the coolest experiences of my entire life to get on the stage and meet these other people who have the same passion I do. But it's just a hobby. It's not something I'm going to invest my life in. It's not something I'm willing to take years off my
Hmm.
life for. Um, so I'm just doing it for fun, really. It gives me a
Did
reason
you
to,
play any sports when you were younger?
no, dude, throw something at me. I'll fucking hit it. It'll hit me right in the fucking face. I promise. Um, no, I wasn't an athlete.
The only reason I ask is when I played soccer, when I was younger, if I would have had the commitment I had with bodybuilding to playing, like when it came to eating the right food, working out every day, making sure my goals were centered around, I guess, the sport, uh, I would have done so much better, I feel like. And it's exactly what you're saying. Bodybuilding teaches you to commit to something and
Right,
to follow through. And obviously, it pushes you, it makes you push your body to a level that you never thought you could.
right.
I mean, bro, I mean, when you get to a stage, and obviously you know this, uh, you're basically they're almost dying.
Yeah,
Realistically, I mean, you're dehydrated, you have no body fat, you're tired, you don't
yeah.
want to be there, you're moody, and somehow excited at the same time. and dude, if you apply that to anything else in your life, dude, if you work that hard in any job, you would eventually get promoted or eventually make more money.
Exactly.
That's why I tell people all the time when they ask me, they're like, "Well, you don't compete anymore, should I?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, you should. It's an experience, and it
Right.
teaches you so much about yourself." That I think everyone should do it at least once, and then from then on you make your own decision. But it literally puts you in that situation to where you can achieve anything
Yeah.
when you can get that low. I think.
Right. Oh, for sure. I think it's a true test of who really has a strong willpower. You know, you
Yeah.
some even if you get on stage and you don't look the way you wanted to. I respect anyone who gets on stage when they've actually put in the effort. I know a lot of people who have gotten on stage and I saw them drinking like the month before. That kind of shit I don't respect. But when I know somebody's been busting their ass, dieting the way they need to, doing the cardio, doing the training, I immediately have respect for that person because I know what it takes.
Yeah.
And it's a cool way to.
Agreed. You know what's even further, I think? Women competing.
Oh, for sure. Honestly, like I really don't. Anytime girls like ask me about competing, I tell them not to. To be completely honest, it's too hard on their body.
They mess up their hormones like crazy, bro.
Right, exactly. And I know too many women who have never rebounded properly from it, and their hormones are messed up for their entire life. So it's just something that I think is a lot more risky for girls, and that they should take. They should really take it very seriously if they're going to go into this, and get a coach who knows what they're doing, knows how to deal with women's hormones, knows how to bring them out of the show more so than into the show. You know, a lot of these coaches nowadays who take on these bikini girls are loading them up with drugs and putting them on like steroids. They're putting them on Clen. They're putting them on T3, T4. They're putting them on all these things that's just going to completely wreck their metabolisms. It's going to wreck their estrogen. It's going to wreck their testosterone. And sure, you might look great for the stage, but then afterwards you balloon up, you look awful, you hate yourself, you're depressed. Like, it's not worth it unless they're prepared for it. And I do not take on women for prep. I take that back. I do have one 50-year-old client who wants to compete as a master's just to say she's done it. So it's a little different, but I don't know enough to take on women for competition. You know, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, and I mean, it's back to what you said. There's a couple of clients I have at the store that their thyroids are messed up from competing in the past, and that stuff you can't go back and fix.
Right.
And none of these women are pros or did anything with fitness, and it was kind of like the same goal as your client. They just wanted to say they did it.
Right.
And the problem is a lot of times, just like any of us, we're pretty competitive, and as soon as somebody tells you, hey, you know, if you took this, you could place. Well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to win. And I think that's the problem with everybody's mentality is you forget that eventually this has a side effect, you know, and you can eventually harm your body. And a lot of times I don't think anyone thinks and goes, this could be me. You know, this is really going to affect me.
Right.
But it sucks because guys could get by and women most of the time can't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So we touched on it kind of at the beginning, but Paradise Supplements, man, that's awesome. You're coming out with your own line, and you're partnered up with Diesel Physique, right?
Yeah. So our partners are Daniel, which is Diesel Physique, and then Nino. So the same partner I have with anybody, he's partnered with me in the supplement line.
Dope.
And I'll be honest, bro. Actually, when I first started in the supplement industry, I was doing for about a year or so. And Mike told me, you know, eventually you can open your own store. And I responded then. I was like, my dream is really to have my own supplement line.
Yeah.
Because I think one of my biggest passions has always been looking up ingredients and learning about ingredients. And that side of the business always seemed more interesting to me than owning a store. But the easiest thing was the store, right? The supplement line just took too much. The little stuff on the side that Nino does, even for anybody now, and I just felt like I wasn't ready. So the last year or so, I've been bugging Nino, and I've been telling him, hey, it's like, I'm ready to start it. Like, we're ready. Let's go. And he kept telling me no, and kept telling me no. So Nino's the no guy, and I'm the hype guy. To me, bro, everything's going to go well. No matter what, I'm like, dude, fuck yeah, we got this. Corona, no big deal, bro. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
And Nino's the guy that levels me back down and goes, hey, you know what? We got to do this and this to be able to get there. And I'm like, nah, we'll be fine, bro.
Yeah, exactly. He's the legit,
so he's perfect.
You're the hype guy.
Yeah, so he's perfect, bro. So he finally was like, you know, I think we might be ready in the next couple months. And Daniel's been for about a year now. Daniel and I have known each other for like 7 years, so we've been really good friends. And Daniel moved to the Virgin Islands. He started his little 6-week challenge, and started growing. So we noticed started growing because of the sales on our website through his code started growing. He started selling close to $5,000 a month of his stuff. So we felt like the challenge was going to keep growing, and we felt like Daniel was super committed to our business and our best interest. So we asked him if he'll be down to start a supplement line. And me and him had talked about it about 2 or 3 years ago about doing a line together.
Yeah.
And he finally said yeah. So we finally decided to come out Paradise. Paradise, the name came from, well, Daniel lives in Paradise basically, so that
Yeah.
was pretty easy. But me and Nino love traveling, bro. All we do is go to the beach, and it's always been a passion of mine um, to travel and stuff. And I want to eventually get a house next to the beach, so Paradise just seemed fitting for everything. And unless I'm wrong, I feel like we're the first supplement line that's actually themed. I feel like everybody else just comes up with a name and then just names their products. I've never seen a supplement line that's themed. Obviously, ours is supposed to be more beach vibes and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So when we came up with a name, I thought that would be something unique and exciting. And if there is a supplement line out there that's themed, it must be really small because I've never even heard of it. So I was excited to do something different and unique. So we're coming out with our own formulas. We trademarked all the formulas. So we're not copying anybody's products, basically.
Yeah.
And we're using patent ingredients and all the formulas. So, one of the biggest things, bro, I don't know if you're taking anything from Axe and Sledge.
Yeah.
I have the most respect for that company because if you look at their labels, everything that they have is out there, put out there. There's no proprietary brand. And if I'm going to copy somebody, I want to copy the best, right? So we
Yeah.
eventually want to get to that point. And I don't know, I think we got something different and unique going on. But I mean, I'm excited, bro. I think we're not gonna come out
Well,
with it until probably mid-July, just because we've been messing with flavorings a ton. I think flavor is huge. I
oh
think a
yeah.
lot of companies just say fuck it and just put stuff out there.
Oh no.
Um,
Flavors
but
like
dude, I want.
flavors half the experience, or the majority
You,
of the experience, to be completely honest. I mean, I've never bought something and been like, this tastes like garbage, I want to buy it again.
I would I would love this. We have so Aries one pre-workout of the year about a year ago, I think.
Mhm.
We ended up getting exclusive flavor of Aries. Every person that tries it loves it. Flavors suck. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, why didn't you guys get this fixed? Like, why was it that you just said, fuck it, I'm going to come out with it? With the formula being so good, they won't pre-workout of the year and the flavors are horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, help yourself and basically spend an extra, bro, it hasn't been that long. We spent an extra 2 or 3 weeks basically returning flavors back and
Yeah.
forth to be able to come out with it be perfect.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think there's a reason to cut corners when it comes to that. So we definitely didn't want to do that, even though I'm super impatient, bro. If it was up to me, we would come out with it tomorrow.
Right.
Um,
What stuff do you guys? What products do you
when they
start with?
first asked me, we were sitting down together and like they were asking a time frame. We're pre-workout, pump, fat burner, aminos, CLA, cell carnitine, and then we're working on 3 other formulas.
Nice. That's
So we're
awesome.
coming out with an entire line right off the bat.
That's awesome. That's cool. I'm looking forward to trying those for sure. I know y'all crushed that, but so being in the supplement industry, and me having a background in the supplement industry as well, what stuff do you look at and you're like, that's complete bullshit? You know what I'm saying? There's always products out there that like do these certain claims and whatnot, but I used to be all into that shit. I used to take the test boosters, the growth hormone boosters. I used to take all that shit. But then like, as I've gotten older, I've really cut back. I mean, when I come into the store, I buy protein, I buy pre-workout, I buy essential amino acids. That's it. And that's all I recommend really to most people, like, unless they want a fat burner or something like that. So
Right.
what kind of stuff have you seen where you're like, nah?
So every time somebody comes in the store, the essential stuff, just like you said, are protein and aminos. I think anything else after that is an add-on, not necessarily something you need. I think you need protein. I think you need BCAAs. Anything else an add-on. When it comes to bullshit products, I think anything that says HGH or IGF-1 is bullshit. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what the study that they come up with says. It doesn't work. You're not going to get results. And if you ever had real IGF-1 or HGH, the difference is unbelievable, and it just doesn't make any sense for you to buy it. Now, test boosters, I think if you understand how testosterone works, you can benefit from natural test booster depending on the age.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody that comes to my store and wants to buy a test booster, one, I ask them if they ever gotten blood work done. Because a lot of times people, even when they get the blood work done and the test is low, if they don't want to inject, they don't get anything and they just avoid it. So in that case, I do recommend it because most of the time they are low. I think if you're around 300, 400 points, I think a natural test booster can maybe get you to 500 to 700. So you could benefit from one. But most of the time, I think they're bullshit, especially the cheapest ones. I mean, you look at the back of some of these test boosters, bro, they cost $25, and I'm like, that's not it. The good ones, bro, cost between like $50 to $70, and even then, again, unless you got blood work done, I wouldn't even touch it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at that point, it's just going to be in your brain, and then who's to say it's not the placebo effect? I agree with both of those as well. Like typically anything that's talking about manipulating hormones is probably BS. Guys our age are not going to benefit from a test booster. We have plenty of testosterone already, unless you've got some kind of deficiency or something. Like you don't need it. So yeah,
you know what's crazy about that? I mean, you're absolutely right. Anybody our age usually doesn't have it. Our part-time guy, Frankie, he is 24, 20. You there? 24, 25. And his test levels came out at 125, bro. And he's young, bro, and he's never taken anything. But he was so overweight when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when you're overweight when you're a kid, your estrogen is higher, your testosterone ends up taking a dip. That's a lot of guys end up having gyno when they get older, just from being overweight when they were kids, and not necessarily anything else, which kind of sucks because, you know what I mean? Like, you can't help that you grew up and you were a little overweight or whatever, and now you have to go spend money on a surgery or something crazy like that, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's definitely not typical. So your average person is not going to need that. But yeah. And that's another reason why, like, I really was like, hey, these guys over at Anybody are cool, because nobody's ever tried to push a test booster on me or growth hormone booster or anything like that. It's like, it would honestly, it's really funny when I do go into stores and somebody does push that on me. I'm like, let's see where this goes. I would love.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that Parks and Recreations when he goes, "It's okay, I know more than you." That's how I feel every time.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I know more than you. We're good right now.
Yeah, right.
Dude, it's funny. I went to a GNC when we were in Cali, and same thing, bro. They're like, "Have you gotten your multi and test booster?" I'm like, "Oh, really? Is that what you guys make money on?" Got it.
Of course.
No, I'm good right now.
Hey, pills. We were always told pills pay the bills, man.
Pills pay the bills, bro.
Right. That's right.
You know what's crazy to me though? One of the biggest things, and one of the biggest surprises I've been doing this. When I first started, pro hormones were legal. So a lot of the pro hormones we used to sell has steroids in it, so of course they worked. But obviously, as that started getting banned, little stuff started coming out. Mm-hmm. When SARMs came out, I thought they were going to be complete bullshit, and there's actually some that work. And it kind of blew my mind because on like a lot of stuff you take, it kicks in pretty fast, 3 to 4 days. And they're in the process right now of getting banned. I heard that some pharmacies are trying to pass them to be pharmaceutical drugs. So almost like some Moreland where you're going to be able to get it prescribed. And I think some of them have a chance of actually getting by, like GW, MK677, maybe LGD, Austrian. They have human studies on them now. But I also think unless somebody's really explaining it to you, you shouldn't take it.
Right. You need to,
because when you go on the internet, you read about it, dude. It's kind of some of them are rough, and some of them only have studies been like done in rats and stuff. So like, if somebody's not telling you exactly what to take, even the SARMs to me are some of the not necessarily bullshit, but one of the guys you gotta be careful with, and not just
I agree
because you read an article or a forum that said you should.
Yeah,
because a lot of times people tell you don't have to PCT from SARMs, which in some SARMs is true, but in some it isn't. So it's not like a general answer. And that's when the guy at the store is supposed to be able to do that. And actually, that's one of the reasons I think stores are going to be around forever, regardless of how big e-commerce gets. People are going to want to ask questions. And people get smarter now and know that reviews don't work, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, reviews are easy to buy and make up online, you know. I think you're right. That's a really good point. I mean, I don't think retail will ever completely die. I'm one of those people where, like, when I buy it, I want my hands on it right then. And it always has to have, I'm not patient whatsoever. I agree. I mean, SARMs, I've run SARMs a few times. I took the pro hormones back in the day. I mean, they definitely do their job for sure, but you got to know what you're getting into. You know, anytime you're going to manipulate something like that, you need to understand the impact that it's going to have on your body and be prepared for what comes after, you know. It's not always about just how good you look or what your muscles look like or how strong you are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I was saying earlier, bro. Like, we don't think about long term, and a lot of times, actually, this is crazy. Last time I competed, it's the best I ever looked, and I went to the doctor after, and he told me I was the unhealthiest I've ever been. And I was surprised, but it's crazy to think how good you look on the outside, and then your insides are
Fuck.
fucked.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, I'm very fortunate that none of my competitions have had any kind of impact on my health. I've had blood work and all that stuff done. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had some blood pressure issues here and there, being up a little bit, and creatinine being a little high, but I was also taking creatine at the time. So
Yeah.
just little things like that. I've never had any super crazy issues, but yeah, I mean, competing regardless of what you're doing is not healthy. I mean, anybody who
Mm-hmm.
thinks that getting into a competition is going to be the way to get themselves to health has not looked into it. They don't know what they're talking
Yeah.
about with the sport. But I mean, it's still, at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun, but you need to know the risks that are involved, and you could potentially be taking years off your life just by getting
Mm-hmm.
yourself to a low body fat like that. You know, our bodies aren't meant to function at 3-4%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Positives and negatives to everything, right?
Yeah. But so I don't want to keep any more of your time, man. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we get off?
That's it, bro. No, I appreciate you having me, bro. Really, really
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
it. I want to do this again. I'm
Yeah,
down.
for sure. I mean, I'm trying to get people on here as much as possible. I'm trying to link up with Josiah, maybe on Thursday. I got another guy I'm interviewing on Wednesday. I mean, I'm trying to get this thing pretty big, man. So I'm excited to get it all put out. But you want to tag like your Instagrams or social media or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely, bro. Let's do it. And Instagram is at Andres Soto Fitness. And yeah, I mean, obviously follow our anybodysupplements.com. If you guys ever need anything, obviously any questions, let us know.
Yeah.
But I'm excited we did this, bro. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me, for real.
sure. And I'll put all your information in the comment section or whatever you want to call it. But I'll make sure that you get
Perfect.
tagged on there and everything, brother. All right, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Of course, bro. Thank you. Have a good day today.
Yeah, man. You too.